Morning, everybody. Welcome to the Inside Edge. It's Wednesday, June 11th, and we're going to have plenty of time to analyze the results of the Democratic and Republican gubernatorial primaries so we can figure out what happened and why and how races might have appeared to be closer than they turned out to be. You want to hear analysis from somebody who has been to sleep already, and you don't want to hear it from me early in the morning. But I'll say this: Mikey Sherrill won 34% of the vote. She received over 270,000 votes. That might be the record for the most votes ever cast in a Democratic gubernatorial primary. The turnout was almost 800,000 Democrats. That blew away any estimates. The turnout models were wrong. It looked like women turned out in massive numbers, and Cheryl clearly connected with the voters. And Cheryl had some defining moments in her campaign. Early commitments of support from the laborers and the firefighters, winning the backing of Democrats in Essex and Middlesex, Mercer, and getting the Hudson County Democratic Organization, which means Craig Guy and Brian Stack, to flip her way. Jack Ciattarelli won a massive 68% in the Republican primary, a 46-point win. It attracted over 450,000 Republicans. Ciattarelli looks like he set a record vote too. And the turning point for Ciattarelli clearly was when President Donald Trump endorsed him. And if you think about it, that's a rather remarkable happening, considering Ciattarelli's past criticisms. He's a strong campaigner. He's got a carefully honed message. He's made a ton of friends in nearly a decade as a gubernatorial candidate, and his campaign on the hard and soft sides, it's hard to argue that they were anything short of flawless. But let's be very clear: what Mikey Sherrill and Jack Ciattarelli won on Tuesday was essentially a really, really nice participation trophy. Because if you don't win the general election, and only one of the two can win, has that for brilliant analysis early in the morning. There's no ties in politics. So if you're not the person who puts their hand on the Bible at the War Memorial and is sworn in as governor on January 20th, 2026, the circumstances of the primary victory, no matter how impressive it was, nobody's going to remember. And I think back to 1989 when Congressman Jim Corder won the Republican nomination for governor. He took about 29% of the vote. It was a 7-point win. But when Democrat Jim Florio won the general election with 61% of the vote, it was the end of people really thinking about Jim Corder. He's got a really nice participation trophy on his bookshelf for that primary win. Florio's got his portrait hanging in the State House, and it'll be there forever. So, at this point, not too many hours after the polls closed, here's some unsolicited advice. And, most of my advice is unsolicited. It's nice to be a pro bono philosopher, but here's my suggestion. Understand that this race starts out as a toss-up, and there's a whole lot of variables that are way too early to predict, and at no point should a candidate ever and their staffs ever do anything other than disbelieve polls and act like they're 10 points behind. In other words, the time for celebrating the participation trophy is over, and the general election begins today. That's all for this morning. Thanks, everybody, and I'll be back tomorrow.